Yeah.
Well, it complements the background.
Compliments the background.
Yeah.
But do you remember we had a guest when she talked about fashion?
Yeah.
And she spoke about black.
That's right.
And so I've gone the reverse. The black's inside, and the statement jumper is on top.
There you go, the statement jumper. The black is the accent colour.
Absolutely.
I pay attention.
See, we listen to all our experts when it comes to fashion and fashionistas. We always tell you that. Anyway, no fashion today. You just get to look at me and Arthur. That's all you're going to get. Because our first guest tonight is a human rights activist who has gained global online attention with her thought-provoking projects.
That's right. And our second guest is also active online, showcasing his charitable work and why it's a big part of his life. That sounds fascinating.
Well, I feel like I'm going to be really useless in this show.
Why?
Everything to do with online. Social media.
I mean, you should be better.
We're going to be talking about FaceTube and uBook.
But you know what? You can turn your phone on.
Yeah.
You can use the caller. You can use the caller.
I can answer a phone.
You can answer a phone. You can send a text message.
I can do that.
You can do email.
I can do email.
That's it. You're sorted.
Is that what I need?
You don't need the rest of it.
So all this FaceTube, uBook.
I mean, you should get a Facebook at least, and maybe an Instagram.
Yeah.
At least like a Snapchat and a LinkedIn.
I've got LinkedIn.
Oh, you got LinkedIn?
I've got LinkedIn.
There you go.
That's probably the extent of my social media.
Sorted.
Well,
you don't need anything else.
Anyway, we'll be learning more
Periscope
about
as well.
Periscope. See, that's a new one.
You need loads of them.
It's all these young
Reddit.
kids.
You got to use Reddit. It's very important.
I haven't got a clue what you're talking about. I read it. I read this. What else it is anyway. Before we introduce our guest in the room now, we have our story of the day. Now, the Chinese New Year took place over the weekend, and here in London, a colourful parade took to the streets to celebrate. Let's take a look. Oh, look, it looks really lively. It's vibrant. It's a dance dragon. It's the year of the rooster, isn't it?
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
I just remember the year I was born, 1984, the year of the rat.
Was it the year of the rat?
Yeah, apparently. And I'm just giving away my age there if anybody wants to do the math. But it's really colourful. I've actually always enjoyed Chinese culture.
Oh, yeah.
You know, kind of the Far East. It's really, I love Chinese food as well.
Yeah.
Not that MSG loaded stuff, like the really good, authentic, proper Chinese food. It's really, really nice. And it's nice that these cultural things are still honoured in London, don't you think?
I know. To be honest, what I love is, my kids are in school. So just last Thursday, my son actually was doing this assembly. And so
really?
I find every year schools here will enact the kind of the story. Because obviously there's I can't remember how many, is it 12 animals that cross a river?
I don't know.
There's something about, all I remember is it's a story about a race of 12 animals, and they got to cross a river. And I think that the ox is the strongest animal supposed to win.
Really?
And the rat kind of sits on the back of the ox and jumps and wins.
So it's very clever.
So it's very clever.
So it just rides on the coattails of like the successful one. Oh, gotcha.
And
interesting. Dirty rat.
It's like that.
But it's a winner.
But it's a winner.
That's really cool, man. Well, if anybody was celebrating Chinese New Year, I hope you guys had a good time. It was very, very colourful, as we say. Yeah, that was really, really good. So, anyway, let's move on now. It's time to welcome our guests who are in the green room as we speak. Please welcome to the show Asoomii J and Adil Riaz. Assalamu alaikum, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to Living the Life. Let's start with Asoomii. Asoomii, it's such a pleasure to have you on the show. What inspired you to start the I Am Muslim project?
Thank you for having me. I've been inspired by the Islamophobia that's been going on, personal experiences after 9/11 with bullying up until now, unfortunately, as well as the refugee crisis. My family is actually from Libya, and I went to visit Libya in 2014, so I witnessed the war. I saw the state that people are living in, and when I came back to Canada, I decided to use my social media platform that I already had for hijab tutorials and modest fashion, and I tried to incorporate activism into that. So using the platform to speak up on social injustices and just try to raise awareness about what's happening in the world. And I believe that education is key, because a lot of people fear what they don't understand, and that's my main aim, to spread the message of coexistence.
Fantastic, guys. So we're looking forward to having you here later on in the show, learning more about the great work that you're doing. And of course, we've got Adil Riaz from Islamic Relief with us as well. Adil, loving the hat, my friend. Beautiful hat that you got on there. Tell us, you're a bit of a, you understand the whole online sphere. What's so good about it? What gets your blood going when it comes to online?
Well, I don't know if it's my blood going, but certainly my social media juice is flowing, possibly. I feel that it's a great way to just share. Sharing is the key element there, where we're able to just share what it means to be a fundraiser. I mean, Basit, you would know this, that being a fundraiser has so many different connotations to it. So I thought I'd use a social media platform just to share my experiences and what I see on a day-to-day basis. Having said that, I need to get an account on this face tube thing that you're talking about, because I think I'm missing out. I'm absolutely missing out.
I'm telling you, face tube, U-book.
It's the future.
That's the future.
It's the future.
That's the future.
Don't worry, I'll show you how to sign up to it later. It's a very, very select club. Listen, guys, pleasure to have you on the show. Can't wait to chat to you in the main studio, inshallah, very shortly.
Indeed. But now it's time for our first international story of the show. Now, in Myanmar, the Irrawaddy dolphins are close to, what? They're close to extinction, I would imagine, is what they're close to, which is causing heartache, of course, for the fishermen who have befriended them. Now, we're going to go and see the video in...
That is really sad, though. I mean, there's so many animals that are facing extinction these days. And,
I know.
like, I mean, I'm not, as you know, I'm not a huge, I'm not an animal kingdom guy, despite what my travel will demonstrate. But, like, dolphins are cute.
They are.
Don't you think dolphins are cute?
They're lovely animals, are dolphins. And it's just a shame that, I mean, do we put it down to climate change?
I don't know. Shall we? I don't know. Let's find out how it is going down in Myanmar anyway.
Let's take a look at this.
Let's take a look.
Tears fill my young Lai's eyes as he describes losing the dolphin he knew since his childhood, the latest casualty of a battle against pollution and electrofishing that may see the species disappear in Myanmar.
She is irreplaceable because she is like my own parents. We cannot replace our loss if our parents die. I'm heartbroken and suffering.
Loved for generations for corralling the catch into fishermen's nets, the smiling Irrawaddy dolphins are being killed in record numbers by rogue gangs who use car batteries to stun aquatic life. Irrawaddy dolphins can be found in rivers, lakes and seas across southern Asia, from the northwest Bay of Bengal in India to the south of Indonesia. On this stretch of river in Myanmar, the animals have developed a deep bond with local fishermen, who they work with in a generations-old partnership that has become the stuff of local folklore. With careful choreography, locals call the animals using a throaty purr, splashing their oars and tapping on the side of the boat. The dolphins signal they are ready to begin with a flick of a fin before driving the fish towards the fishermen's boats where they are scooped up by waiting nets. Myong Lei said he had spent more than 30 years fishing with one group of 7 dolphins. In neighbouring Laos, the Irrawaddy dolphin was declared functionally extinct by the World Wildlife Fund in October 2016, after just 3 individuals were counted during their last survey.
Sad.
That is really sad, isn't it?
I don't think it is to do with climate change, by the way, because I think rising sea levels, if anything, are beneficial.
That would be good, right?
But then I don't know about the quality of the water and that kind of stuff as well.
Plus, I'm guessing there's also something to do with fishing as well, because sometimes when you fish for tuna, you do end up catching dolphins, right?
And there's a lot of refuse that goes into the sea. A lot of people litter in the sea as well, which is not good for the sea life. Anyway, listen, let's move on to something more pleasant. Now, we're about to welcome our first guest for tonight's show, a Canadian-born human rights activist. Our guest has a strong passion for equality and issues in the Muslim world. She created a project that explored the public's perceptions of Muslims, and it became an online global hit with viewers.
Indeed. Now, here to tell us more about her projects and what inspired her work, please welcome to the show, Asoomii J. Assalamu alaikum, Asoomii.
Walaikum salam. Thank you for having me.
Pleasure
to have you. Listen, thank you so much for being here. It sounds like a wonderful initiative. I mean, you gave us a little insight into I'm a Muslim, when we were talking to you in the green room. Obviously, you reached out, you've put these videos, this stuff online. What's the response been like?
There was both positive and negative, of course. I tried to ignore the negative because, in a world like this where technology is at the finger of our hands, we can go out and educate ourselves. Those who try to, bash the concept of coexistence and unity, I just completely ignored it. But there was an overwhelming response, positive response of people, sharing the message, recreating the project in over 30 cities globally. And when we were doing the project, actually, a guy, if you're watching the video to the end, a man actually stopped traffic to get out of the car, run all the way to hug the actor, and to me that was very touching, and it was just amazing just to see the positive feedback. And
incredible.
Now, you also started this I Am Muslim project, and I think we've got some footage of you guys in action. So let's just take a quick look at that, and you can talk us through this in terms of what's going on here. And actually, there we go. There you go.
Our target. A scapegoat. Misunderstood.
Let's see what Canada has to say.
That looked fascinating, didn't it? What was going on there, Asoomii?
So, well, we stood in Toronto with a sign that said, I'm a Muslim, so that makes me. And we wanted to see how Canadians perceived us. And we wanted to show them how we were made to feel as well in our own country. So we wrote one word, kind and terrorists, just to see their reactions. And every single person that walked by and saw the word terrorist got very upset and wanted to cross it out. And that was such a relief.
Of course.
But again, the response was overwhelming. And then right after this project, we actually did another one called The Blind Trust, which is the Hug a Muslim. And that also went viral. So it was just
that's fantastic.
Because I saw that, because I mean, in that video, we're seeing little snapshots of people saying, my friend, you know, trustworthy, awesome, all that.
Like
so is that the comments that they were putting as we're going along there?
This is the thing, like when you put a project, like, so it can be, as you said, you know, there's been positive and negative response to this, like, because a lot of people have attempted to counter this kind of wave of Islamophobia that has kind of manifested itself in mainstream media. When you put things that are, you know, quite positive out there and it challenges that narrative that exists in the mainstream, what are the, you know, what's the resistance? Like, what is the main kind of character resistance that comes from the other side?
It's the fear. People fear what they don't know and what they don't understand. So that's why I believe that education is key. I continue to use my online social media platform right now to, you know, raise awareness and just educate people. And I always tell them, don't listen to politicians, don't listen to media, don't listen to me. Go to the source and learn for yourself. And for Muslims as well, if you want to defend Islam, we need to do it with our action, with our behavior. So there's a concept of ihsan in Islam, which means to strive for goodness, good manners, good character.
Of course. So how many hits have you had on that? How many people have viewed that video?
This one... 2-3 million.
Wow, that's really impressive.
That is really big, especially when you consider the proliferation of content that's out there as well. Now, in addition to kind of activism online, you've also been involved in moderate fashion, is that right?
Yes.
So tell us how you got involved in that.
So I actually went to live in Dubai for a couple of years because my mom was seeing, you know, all the bullying and attacks that were happening to us. She wanted to take us away from that for a while. And when I came back, I saw a lot of my friends starting to remove the hijab, and I didn't understand it. So I decided with the hijab tutorials and promoting the concept of modest fashion just to empower women. And now I'm actually getting back into it. I'm incorporating my passion for fashion and activism together. I'm going to be at an event this Sunday called the Pre-Love Sale. It's sponsored by ID Juma. I'm actually wearing one of her scarves. It says "Never Give Up," which is really
I see.
What that said.
Never give up. I didn't notice, but I suppose that's the subtlety of fashion.
And all the things that we're selling, we're actually donating to charity, the proceeds for that. So.
Fantastic.
Excellent.
That's brilliant. Listen, that's really, really great work, Asoomii. It's really nice to see that online platform being used for something very positive and a positive outcome coming from it as well. What are you going to hopefully move on to? Have you got other ideas for the next kind of socially activist thing you're going to do online?
Currently in the UK, I'm actually thinking of starting a modest fashion brand. That's still in the process. And again, it's the whole concept of fundraising and charity. So promote the concept of modesty as well as helping those in need.
Excellent. So I told you we'd bring fashion back into the show.
There we go. It wasn't just your jumper.
It wasn't just my jumper.
It wasn't just.
Modest fashion.
It most definitely is. Listen, Asoomii, this is all fascinating. Stick around. We'll chat some more, inshallah, and we'll find out more about I Am Muslim Project, and we'll give the viewers a chance to get involved. But right now, we're off for a break. Before we go, we have another story for you, this time from Italy. Italia in Europe. Pizza. Pantheoni.
Penne pasta.
Margaretti.
Margarita.
No, it's Margarita.
Margarita.
What's Margaretti? I don't know what that is. Anyway,
No.
an artist, I apologize humbly for that. Anyway, an artist known for his work with nature has been celebrated at an exhibition in Rome. His career spans more than 50 years. Let's take a look.
Career of Giuseppe Pannoni, the Italian artist best known for his tree-inspired sculptures, is celebrated in an exhibition spanning 50 years of his work, which begins Friday in Rome. Around 20 works by Pannoni, one of the founders of the 1960s and 70s Arte Povera movement, have been assembled for an exhibition entitled Matrice in the Palazzo della Civiltà Italiana. This Mussolini-era homage to the Colosseum of ancient Rome has since the end of 2015 been home to upmarket fashion house Fendi, which is hosting the exhibition.
Sono opere che hanno una pregnanza, credo, anche straordinaria in una città come Roma, dove
these are works that have an extraordinary footprint in a city like Rome, where this nature-culture marriage is now our daily life. And we also thought that it would be good to install them in a place like this, extraordinary and monumental, perhaps to remind us that history is also destined to return to nature one day. So a certain modesty in the work of Pannone that we owe it to ourselves to cherish.
Nell'opera di Pennone di cui forse bisogna far tesoro.
The centerpiece of the exhibition is Pannone's giant 2015 installation, also called Matrice, which features a 30-meter-long pine trunk that has been dissected and hollowed out to enclose a bronze mold. Like many of his works, the piece reflects the artist's fascination with the relationship between time and nature, and, in a metaphorical sense, between nature, humanity, and decline. His works in the Leaves of Stone series, where sculpted blocks of marble are combined with bronze trees, are a type of dialogue between the ancient and the contemporary. Exhibition curator Massimiliano Gioni said Pannone's work had a particular resonance in Rome, a city where culture comes as a second nature. Another well-known piece is Repeating the Forest, a fairy tale forest representation which he worked on from 1969 until last year.
That's really, you know, one thing about Italy is the art, the culture.
Oh my God,
it's just,
man!
You know, it's beautiful, beautiful.
It's one of, like, Rome in particular is one of the most beautiful places to go in terms of art and architecture, to see some of the incredible things there. I mean, you have places like the Sistine Chapel, you know, the Pantheon, the Colosseum. It's one of the most breathtaking places. So, I mean, I think there's if there's a romantic occasion in your other half's life, there's worse places to go.
Spoil your wife, take her to Rome.
That's right.
What I do.
Or your husband, if you're watching.
She never appreciated me since.
If my missus is watching, spoil your husband.
Spoil your husband.
I could get to Rome and eat some margarita pizza. Anyway, guys, we'll be back, inshallah, on the other side of this break. Stay tuned. We've got another fantastic guest joining us after the break.
Coming up after the break, in Vietnam, novelty fruits have been sold during the Lunar New Year as gifts or decoration. But one company is now stepping up the competition and is using watermelons as their canvas. They use lasers to engrave different designs into the melons, putting a new juicy twist on traditional practice. In Poland, a team of people have come together to raise funds to purchase a communist-era car for the movie star Tom Hanks, after he tweeted about his admiration for the historic autos. But what car are they planning to buy? Don't go anywhere.
Living the life.
Are you using your ISA to its maximum benefit? The annual ISA allowance limit has increased to £15,000 per tax year. You can now invest or transfer existing balances into a Sharia-compliant stocks and shares ISA with Oasis from as little as £100 per month or a one-off lump sum of £1,000. This opportunity can be yours. To take advantage of this tax-free savings opportunity, contact Oasis today on 0808 238 7543 or visit oasiscrescent.com. Commitment unwavering.
Winter is coming. Across the world, we are caring for thousands of orphans and refugees who urgently need winter survival kits. Without them, they could freeze to death. You can provide a winter survival kit for an orphan from just £30. Call 0121 446 5682. or go to islamichealth.org.uk. Let's keep them warm this winter. Donate now.
Muslim Charity and Islam Channel present the annual From UK with Love Pakistan tour. Join us for an experience of a lifetime. Between the 26th of March to the 1st of April 2017, Muslim Charity will be taking supporters and friends on a 7-day tour of Pakistan to show how donations by UK donors are used to create impact on the lives of vulnerable communities. For further information and to download the information pack, please visit muslimcharity.org.uk or call us on 0207 100 4930.
It's not what you say, it's how you say it. Visit mubaraklondon.com.
Save up to 70% off in K Furniture's winter sale. This pair of Malta sofas, now only $499. Buy this Florence double bed with storage space, now only $179. This cashmere 6-door, 8-drawer wardrobe is only $599. Buy this pair of Capri recliner leather sofas, now only $12.99. Stores at Cricklewood, Harrow and Hatch End, or order online at kfurniture.co.uk.
Compelling Records presents Hamza Shuaib and his debut album Return to Allah, featuring his new single Road of Life. On this road of life, A to Z. I, inshallah, will visit the city of Rasulullah. And the title track Return to Allah, available online and in stores now. Return to Allah.
Burial prices across London inflated this January and are continuing to rise annually. Eternal Gardens in South London are working with the community to provide affordable and high-standard Islamic burials. Supported by Sheikh Suleiman Ghani and many other ulama, our instalment plan provides an affordable option for any budget. Secure a plot for your family now and ensure they are cared for when it counts most. Death happens unannounced. Have you made provisions for your family? Eternal Gardens, making a difficult time a little easier.
Love, romance, intimacy, the essence of a marriage. Make those intimate nights perfect for your loved one with our exquisite lingerie and accessories. A halal lingerie website with no nudity, so there's no need to compromise on your faith. With our beautiful, affordable lingerie, make those intimate nights unforgettable. Order now on www.intimatenights.com. Intimate Nights.
Living the life.
Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to Live the Life. Now we've been chatting to Asoomii J about her projects that are challenging stereotypes and promoting peace.
That's right. Now before we speak to our next guest, we have a fruit-filled story for you. Now in Vietnam, novelty fruit has been used for decoration and gifts for the Lunar New Year. But now melons are taking center stage as they're being laser engraved with festival designs. I can't believe I just said that. Let's take a look.
In Vietnam, the Lunar New Year holiday is a time for traditions. From giant pomelos to so-called Buddha hands to designer coconuts, markets are awash with novelty fruits. They're gifted to colleagues and relatives or kept at home as holiday decorations. Now one company is putting a modern twist on the practice, offering eager customers laser-engraved watermelons. It's a skill that was previously done by hand for generations. But Nguyen Van Min says lasers allow for more intricate designs, roosters, dragons, or good luck messages.
Laser carving is more accurate and better for small patterns. Plus the designs are more diverse.
He's been making the patterns for more than a year, selling the fruit to special order customers, mostly during holidays. And the big ticket item this new year? In the Chinese zodiac's year of the rooster, there can only be one winner. But at around $1.50 to $3.50 a go, Min says he's not raking in a fortune just yet.
Our profits are not good, but we still want to do it because this is a new business and because we're all passionate about it.
Min's managed to sell a few hundred of the melons ahead of Tet, as the New Year festival is known here. He says he only has one wish this year. a fruitful business for his laser-engraved melons.
Now, you know what? That was actually
very
quite
nice.
impressive.
Laser engraved melons.
But you know what it is? As long as I hope somebody was eating those melons off.
I know.
Because I would hate to see them go to waste just for the sake of.
But it does seem like a waste, because once you've done all that fancy engraving, you know,
Yeah.
do you chop it up into bits?
You can take a picture of it, then you chop it up and eat it. That's the only way that's acceptable. I'm sorry, you can't waste food like that.
Actually, that is a good point.
I think as long as you can take a picture.
Carve it from the other side, perhaps.
I don't mind. If don't you look at your Instagram thing and look at all the pictures of like decorated melons?
Yeah.
No?
No.
Okay.
No. Insta who? Insta who? Which leads us nicely on to our next guest. Now, he's also passionate about human rights and humanitarian issues. However, our guest started an online blog to document his passion and work with charities, and also gained a following with his hashtag.
That's right. Now, here to tell us more, please welcome the one and only Mr. Adil Riaz. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. And listen, you said fashion in the intro.
Oh,
didn't
yeah.
You? I mean, you can see it. Look at this, the very trendy.
He's the most trendiest guy you're going to get.
Look at this, the skinny jeans, the shoes, the
God.
jacket, the hat.
Oh, God,
you
wow.
can tell this guy knows his fashion.
To be fair, I was just went to Bassett Khan recently shopping, so
did you really?
He showed me some of the finest places in
These
London.
were all my tips.
I'm telling you.
I told him the hat.
You know what?
We coordinated the jacket, the colours and everything. I mean,
Amazing.
Oh, wow.
Well, if you could coordinate his Instagram too, then you're sorted. Now listen, you've started a blog which has had a tremendous response.
Yeah.
Where did the idea for that come from?
Okay, well, actually, it was from colleagues and volunteers whom I spent all my life with, actually, and that's the idea right there. I mentioned earlier in the green room where charity and fundraising, no one really understands what it means to be a fundraiser. I mean, to be fair, when I was a volunteer, I was very honoured to have spent time with Dr. Hani al-Banna and Zaid al-Roni and mentors of mine who I look up to heavily. And they introduced the world of charity to me, and I thought, wow, this is phenomenal. So then every time a relative or a family member asks, what is it that you actually do? Because all we see that you're out of home. You're always out of home, but what do you do? So I thought the only way I can actually explain it to them is through pictures. See what I see. And so literally I took pictures of almost everything that I do on a daily basis. Well, not quite everything, but more or less some of the more poignant elements like event planning, meeting with volunteers all across the country. And the most famous pictures I take are the motorway. Where I spend most of my life.
That's amazing.
And really. So can we expect a picture of us today on your Instagram?
You know, to be fair, if it was on a motorway, then wonderful, yeah, it would be.
We'll Photoshop one in
I'll take one. I'm going to have to fit you guys in somewhere.
We'll just stand on the road
There's
outside.
a car park outside.
Yeah.
We'll just,
the problem is, everyone's going to know where, who my fashion guru is now, Bassett.
There you go.
So I can't give all my tricks away.
You've exposed it on live
I've
TV.
exposed it.
Now listen, you've made a hashtag, an incredibly popular online. What is the hashtag?
It's the hashtag, and it's actually my Instagram handle. At Diary of a Fundraiser, hashtag Diary of a Fundraiser. And I just felt that it allowed for me to communicate with so many individuals who don't see me, who don't even know me. So initially I was from Birmingham, then I moved to London 9-10 months ago.
You ditched the accent very quickly.
Well, yeah, I mean, to be I'd like to think I never had it, but that being said, I'm able to now communicate with people across the world even, who follow me on my Instagram and who communicate thinking, wow, what work do you do? They send me messages saying, how can we get involved across the world? And it's just an amazing opportunity for me to share, being the operative word, what I do with the world.
So for a novice like me, right? Like, I mean, I still haven't opened up my own Facebook account or FaceTube, whatever.
Do you fundraise a lot as well?
I did fundraise, but I never did social media. I think in my day it was just a bucket and a, who's giving X amount of money, and that was it. So never quite grasped the social media side. But what would be your advice for someone like me who's not really social media savvy?
I think don't think too much about it. Because honestly, if I'm being completely frank, I didn't really have much experience in social media training. I didn't go on a course at all. I just realised that the way that the market is moving and the way the world is moving, it's all online. And initially it was Facebook, Twitter, where it was all kind of like message and information-led. And then what Instagram did was, which I found was really suitable to what I did, it's just imagery. And I didn't have to worry about words. I didn't have to worry about writing sentences and writing a very intelligent or in-depth paragraph. I just had to take a picture of what I was doing. And that spoke 1,000 words, you know, such as a cliche.
It's the world that we live in now, where this content is being produced specifically for Instagram and YouTube. And we were talking to Asoomii earlier as well, and you can chime in on this. It's such a powerful way to get a message out there. And I know you talked about sharing as well.
Yeah.
This is the value of being online, right? You put something online and millions of people can see this. I mean, roughly 2 to 3 million hits for the video that you put out there.
It's a phenomenal achievement,
And
really is.
Absolutely, mashallah. And the response you get from that, the number of people that get in touch, that are exposed to your message, that, I mean, that has a beautiful knock-on effect. Like, as I was saying, you know, there's people who want to know what a fundraiser is doing. I guess they could be inspired to fundraise or to be socially, you know, active.
So what I did with the Blind Trust Project, it actually inspired people to recreate the project. And a lot of them got in touch with me. How did you do it? What did you do? And, you know, made friends as well all around the world. It's been great. Social media really connects the world and brings us closer than ever before.
So you're taking all these pictures.
Sure.
And I'm guessing this is you. So we have one of us there.
There's not many selfies.
There's not many selfies.
No.
I was just thinking.
No filters.
You know, it's interesting because the way that the culture is, again, and especially on Instagram, it's all about the selfie. And the reason why it wasn't important that I take pictures of myself is because the whole objective of the Instagram account, Diary of a Fundraiser, was to show the world what I'm doing or what I see.
Yeah.
As opposed to it being about, hey guys, look at me.
Yeah.
It's literally about what I see, my experiences.
It's more of a first-person objective.
For the world.
But like a first-person
absolutely.
perspective.
So
like
you felt that you were me for a day. You were me for a day. What do you do? So I meet volunteers. I'll go have a cup of coffee. I might go shopping as well, just because I'm a normal human being. I can assure you, we're not some weird, weird person who has no social life.
They don't have to be mutually exclusive. But anyway, this is great. So listen, you've put this stuff out there, fundraising.
Yeah.
What do you typically fundraise for?
Well, alhamdulillah, being a part of a phenomenal charity that is Islamic Relief, and it was just our 33rd year anniversary a few weeks ago, I think. And it's such a great opportunity for me to just honour all the work that we have done over the last 33 years. And for me, again, it's about introducing newer individuals to our work. We fundraise for so many different projects. Our main focus is about long-term sustainability, not just feeding the man for a day, but allowing them to feed themselves. So with that philosophy being in place, alhamdulillah, what we've really focused on, and especially with Instagram, is that we've invited newer volunteers, younger volunteers who have a lot of time.
Sure.
But they don't know what to do with their time. And, Bassett, you would know this. I mean, back in the day, and I say like I'm 50 years old, but back in the day, we used to go to masjids and traditionally go recruit volunteers. But now, you have to be on social media. And alhamdulillah, through social media, we've invited so many different people so that I was on Whitechapel High Street the other day, and someone stopped me, probably because of my hat, and said, I've seen you somewhere. I've seen you somewhere. You're with that charity, aren't you? I said, yes, I am, just down the road. He said, look, I want to get involved. What do I do? How do I get involved? I said, well, why don't you just come over to the office? All of a sudden, we had a cup of tea, and now the guy's fundraising for us, and that's the magic of social media.
MashaAllah.
It really is.
That is absolutely brilliant. Listen, it's been a pleasure speaking to you.
No,
mate.
thank
Stick
you.
around, inshallah, we'll talk some more with yourself and Asoomii. But right now,
we're off for another quick break. But before we go, another quick story. Now, a group of people in Poland are also fundraising, but to buy an iconic communist-era car to give to movie actor Tom Hanks. What is
going on?
I don't know what's going on here. Let's check this out and find out.
Inspired by tweets Tom Hanks posted showing himself admiring an iconic communist-era car, Poles have raised the cash to buy a tiny Fiat 126p for the Hollywood star, organisers said on Tuesday. The Oscar winner posed next to several of the cars affectionately dubbed Malusz, or Little Guy, in Polish, during a shoot late last night in the Hungarian capital Budapest.
One day, I was in front of my computer and I saw that Tom Hanks put photos of himself next to tiny Fiats and wrote, "I'm already very charmed by this new car." And so I said to myself, that's it. We can actually offer him a Fiat 126p and he'll truly be excited by this car. And he's going to love it, like we in Poland love it.
I got a new car, Hanks, reads a caption on one of the tweets that... I got a new car, Hanks, reads a caption on one of the tweets that caught the attention of the Poles after going viral. Monika Jaskuluska, a 42-year-old mother who lives in Balakus-Biala, the southern Polish town where Italian car maker Fiat produced over 3 million Malusz between 1971 to 2000, dreamt up the idea to send Hanks one of them as a gift. Although cramped and clunky, the ultra-compact cars were prized during the communist era in Poland and other social bloc countries where consumer goods were in very short supply. An auto body shop has volunteered to renovate it free of charge before it is flown to Los Angeles by an airline that has also agreed to cover the cost of the flight.
You know what, I tell you what, Polish people are incredibly generous.
They are,
That's
indeed.
what I can take from that.
I mean, you know, it's not like Tom Hanks can't buy a Fiat 126p.
Of course not, because, you make 25 million a film, 40% of that is taxed straight away, so you're left with 17.5 million.
I mean, what can you do with 17.5 million?
You certainly can't buy an old...
You can't buy a Fiat 126p.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so at all. Anyway, car fans, what is your favourite classic car of all time? Tweet us at Islam Channel, #LTL. We'll catch you on the other side of this.
Coming up after the break, more and more new species of wildlife are being discovered around Peru. Manu National Park is a safe home to an exotic range of animals, but threats such as illegal logging are becoming more common, creating risks for the creatures. Stay tuned to find out more.
Living the life.
Burgister Brothers. Extraordinary gourmet burgers. Now open in Piccadilly Circus.
Did you know that over 300,000 children die each year due to drinking unclean water? Clean water should be a basic human right, but so many people around the world lack this basic need. With your support, Tiba Foundation is working to end their suffering by providing water hand pumps and clean water systems around the globe. Donate now by visiting tibafoundation.org and help us save lives.
It's not what you say, it's how you say it. Visit MubarakLondon.com.
With millions lacking adequate shelter, heating, blankets, and even food, many will die from the cold this winter. Around the world, many face the prospect of a winter which could be their last. We're trying to change that. Don't let families face the winter alone. Keep them warm, keep them alive by donating at muslimhands.org.uk or call us today.
Doctors, professionals, community leaders, parents and grandparents, whichever role you're in, you want to get ahead and succeed in it. Oasis Crescent is the wealth manager that can manage your savings in an ethical, sustainable and Sharia compliant manner. From as little as £100 per month or a one-off lump sum of £1,000, you can begin your journey to reach your financial goals. Contact Oasis today on 0808 238 7543 or visit oasiscrescent.com. Commitment unwavering.
The temperature is dropping. The nights are drawing in. How are you preparing to stay out of the cold? Sometimes it's easy for us to forget those for whom winter is a time of harshness, not comfort. Your hands may be cold, but your hearts will stay warm if you allow the spirit of compassion to reach Palestinians in need. This winter, you can keep them out of the cold by coming together for Palestine.
Save up to 70% off in K Furniture's winter sale. Buy this pair of Shanghai recliner sofas for $899 and get this recliner chair free, absolutely free. Gift an extending dining table with 6 chairs. now only $3.99. This elegant white gloss port or two-drawer wardrobe for $2.99. Buy this Buckingham double bed with 2 drawers for $2.99 and get a 1,000 pocket spring mattress and headboard free. Stores at Cricklewood, Harrow and Hatch End, or order online at kfurniture.co.uk.
Living the life.
Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to Living the Life. Now we're still joined by our guests and we'll be finding out a little bit more about how you can follow their work online in just a moment.
That's right, but first we have our final story for this evening show, and we are in the jungle in Peru. Where a growing number, Peru indeed. Peru. There's a growing number of different animal species who are constantly being discovered. Amazing, I thought we discovered all the animals we wanted to discover. No. But people have their worries over the animals' natural habitat. Let's take a look.
This about which is the hottest. Manu National Park is the most biodiverse and protected area on Earth. It's located at the edge of the Andes as it descends into the Amazon basin in the southeastern corner of Peru. And that is the most biodiverse part of the Amazon basin, and the huge diversity of the Andes added to that result in the most biodiverse park on Earth. Buffered on one side by mountains and accessible only by serpentine rainforest rivers on the other, its location has long afforded it natural protection. But even geography can't stave off the threats from human encroachment. Illegal logging, oil and gas extraction, and human migration are closing in. Manu teems with life. This white-faced capuchin monkey is one of 13 primates. Peru's national bird, the cock of the rock, is one of nearly 2,000 types of bird. There are also millions of species of insects, like these leafcutter ants.
El número de especies que desaparece.
The number of species that disappear forever each day is much greater than the number we discover each day. In other words, there are species that disappear before we can even discover them.
The wealth of biodiversity in Manu makes it a treasure trove for scientific discovery. Biologists say we've only scratched the surface of what it could offer for medicine and innovation. Some, like park guide Nicholas Quinte, advocate an alternative use of the rainforest and the buffer zone around it.
The activities here shouldn't just involve removing resources, they should also be productive and sustainable. One of them could be tourism, which uses the forest without destroying it.
For now, Manu remains a safe haven for endangered species like these giant otters. But as the pace of development quickens in Peru's southeast, it could become just an island of biodiversity.
Colourful birds.
That's amazing. And that colourful, that skyline in Peru.
Beautiful, wasn't it?
That is beautiful. Have you ever been to South America?
I've never, to be honest, that's the one continent I've never been to.
Really?
Yeah, never been there.
I've always wanted to go
one day.
My wife has always wanted to go to Brazil and, you know, the Amazon rainforest.
Yeah.
And I just say...
That'd be a bit scary.
Maybe Dubai. I don't know.
Because the thing is, I mean, I can deal with the savannah.
Yeah.
But that jungle, the Amazon...
I mean, it's tough, you know. Yeah. Alhamdulillah, I've been blessed with so many things. I feel obliged to at least try and enjoy them, rather than deprive myself of them. That's my reasoning anyway. And listen, we've got two wonderful guests with us today. It's been fascinating talking to you guys. Adil, we were talking about the charity work that you do and showcasing that to the world, and recruiting volunteers with this new thing. Now, there's a proliferation of work in the charitable sector. There's so much happening. There's so many, so many events happening. I mean, from comedy shows to poetry slams to nasheed work. You know, there's so many things that happen. How does one make their event stand out?
I think for us it's around the objective. So the overall goal for us as a charity is to eradicate extreme poverty. That is the overall aim. And the reason why that's quite poignant and why we need to keep that at our forefront at all times is because all the events, you can have, you know, great artists, you can have great speakers and so on and so forth. But if the volunteers and the public, your supporters, are not really believing in your actual project that you're actually delivering on the ground across the world, then there's no point. So what we try to do at Islamic Relief is really put the whole event around the campaign or around that project. And I feel, again, even in our pictures that I put up on Instagram, it's all about the projects in terms of how these amazing young men and women, volunteers of 16 all the way to the mature adults who are giving up their free time to alleviate the suffering of those in need across the world. I think it's just so inspiring. It really is. And that's the reason why I'm in the sector and why I've not left.
Fantastic. Now, of course, we know you've got this hashtag.
Yes, Diary of a Fundraiser. So it's hashtag Diary of a Fundraiser, but the Instagram handle, I believe it's called, is at Diary of a Fundraiser.
And of course, that would be inspiration for all of our viewers. If they want to volunteer for charities, see what actually happens in a charity.
Absolutely.
Can't go wrong there. Fantastic.
Absolutely.
And of course, we're talking about inspirational work that Muslims are doing. We're also talking about great work in terms of tackling Islamophobia. Now, of course, there's been a lot in the news recently about how Muslims are being victimised and wrongly accused of being something that they're not. How important is it for us to kind of get this positive messaging out right now?
It's very important. Education is key, so we need to keep on continuing to raise awareness about what's happening. If someone, you have to deal with Islamophobia, the best thing to do is reach out, speak to someone, report the case, and as well, the Muslim community, we need to have unity ourselves because that is missing. We need to empower one another. So, for example, a lot of my friends have ended up taking off the hijab because of actual extreme cases. One of my friends got pushed in front of the subway. I got pushed down the stairs. It was very bad, to the point that a lot of girls ended up taking it off for their fear. And instead of, being there for them, to empower them again, to make them strong, no, they shun them and turn against them. So this is something that we need to unite first and foremost. And then, we'll be able to stand up for Islam. And then now for the others, the non-Muslims, education is key. I'm going to stress on it. So again, go to Muslim communities, go to the mosque, speak to an imam, get involved.
Absolutely.
Learn about it firsthand.
I mean, it's so heartening to see a lot of non-Muslim people standing up for. I mean, there's been a lot of injustice against Muslims in recent weeks with the current news that we have that's circulating. I mean, it's been so nice to see so many non-Muslims standing up, embracing their education and using Islamic knowledge to defend themselves. So I think it's wonderful work that you do. If people want to find out more about your work, and getting involved with your campaigns and seeking education, how do they do it?
You can follow me on Instagram and Facebook mainly. A lot of my videos are up on YouTube, so just search Asoomii J and it'll come up. And once in a while, I get involved in charity organizations, so you can help out. And stay tuned for my fashion line that's coming up.
Fantastic. Excellent.
We might even feature in that.
We might. We're going to launch that fashion career one day. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. It's been a pleasure having you both. But sadly,
that's all that we've got time for today. A massive thank you, of course, to our guests and for you watching at home.
That's right. Don't forget, Living the Life will be back again tomorrow night, inshallah, at 7 p.m. in the UK. And if you want to see your best bits again, you can do it on youtube.com/Islam Channel TV. And we've got the Twitter as well.
And we've got the Twitter handle as well,
we're not there. The channel is on the social media at Islam Channel, #LTL.
See, we've got our own hashtag as well.
Everything.
#LTL. Anyway, Live the Life will be back tomorrow live at 7 p.m. But until then, from all of us here in the studio, Assalamu alaikum.
Living the love.
On this day in 1972, British Army paratroopers opened fire on civil rights protesters in Northern Ireland. Killing 14 people and injuring 13 others. The day would become known as Bloody Sunday. The victims were part of a demonstration against British Prime Minister Edward Heath's policy of interning suspected Irish nationalists during their struggle to end British rule in Northern Ireland. Troops later testified that the victims were carrying guns and nail bombs and that the British Army acted in self-defence. But 38 years of campaigning and mounting public pressure forced the British government to reopen the investigation. The Savile inquiry in 2010 revealed that none of the dead or injured were armed, that the army were not provoked into shooting, and that many were shot whilst running away from troops.
What happened on Bloody Sunday was both unjustified and unjustifiable. It was wrong.
One of the victims, Patrick Doherty, was shot in the back as he tried to crawl to safety through the forecourt of a nearby block of flats.
All of them are huge supporters of the peace process.
According to his son, Tony Doherty, the Parachute Regiment were frontline assassins for Britain's political and military elite. Our campaign was for justice. We fought for all those who have suffered at the hands of unaccountable power. These bloody events had their origins in a civil rights march in Derry in Northern Ireland in October 1968. The march had been organised by the Derry Housing Action Committee and was supported by the Northern Ireland Civil Rights Association. But the Apprentice Boys, a militant Protestant organisation, announced that they would hold a counter-demonstration on the same day. Following this announcement, Northern Ireland's government announced a ban on all marches. But the civil rights protesters decided to go ahead with the demonstration. The Royal Ulster Constabulary intervened. Blocking the march, they charged at the crowd with batons. In August the following year, rising tensions boiled over into 3 days of rioting as protesters clashed with police. Republican socialist Bernadette Devlin was arrested and jailed for participating in what became known as the Battle of the Bogside.
Because if he stands up on his own 2 feet.
Devlin spoke at the demonstration on Bloody Sunday and witnessed the killings. She lays the blame for Bloody Sunday on the British state, saying that, "I discounted any real belief that the British government would countenance killing the people in order to suppress the protests. Now that it had happened, it made sense to me that it was fundamental to the nature of the British state in Ireland."
Watch Islam Channel Urdu, Sky 851.
It seems age-old chauvinistic, patriarchal practices in Muslim communities are on the rise. But how much is Islam and how much is culture? What are the issues that men face in terms of being macho? And how does the macho male personality compare to the example of our Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him? Do women reinforce this dangerous concept? We'll be asking these very questions on the next episode of Women's AM. Plus, we're giving away another fantastic prize in our weekly competition. To be in with a chance to win, tune in for all the details. All this and much, much more, Tuesday the 31st of January, live at 11 AM, only on Islam Channel.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, my dear beloved brothers and sisters. If you are missing out on the Tajweed show, or if you are struggling in your recitation of Quran, then please join me every Saturday at 5 o'clock on Islam Channel to watch the Tajweed show.
Save up to 70% off in K Furniture's winter sale. Buy this pair of Shanghai recliner sofas for $8.99 and get this recliner chair free. Absolutely free. Dipped and extending dining table with 6 chairs. Now only $3.99. This elegant white gloss portal 2-drawer wardrobe for $2.99. Buy this Buckingham double bed with 2 drawers for $2.99 and get a 1,000 pocket spring mattress and headboard free. Stores at Cricklewood, Harrow and Hatch End, or order online at kfurniture.co.uk.
Winter is coming. Across the world, we are caring for thousands of orphans and refugees who urgently need winter survival kits. Without them, they could freeze to death. You can provide a winter survival kit for an orphan from just £30. Call 0121 446 5682 or go to islamichealth.org.uk. Let's keep them warm this winter. Donate now.
The things we see, the places we go, the people we love, all of these bring spiritual balance to our lives. At Suna Musk, our fragrances are designed to stir up the spirituality in all of us. Suna Musk are more than fragrances. They conjure up the original emotions captured by the old masters. Suna Musk, everlasting fragrance.
Burgester Brothers. Extraordinary gourmet burgers. Now open in Piccadilly Circus.
Are you ready for this winter? Turning up the thermostat, running a warm bath, pouring yourself a hot drink. We're all ready for winter. Unfortunately, others are not. Thousands of orphans need your help to survive the winter. Your donation will provide an orphan with a warm winter coat, a hat, a scarf, gloves and winter shoes. Call 03000 121 121 to donate £30 now.
Love, romance, intimacy, the essence of a marriage. Make those intimate nights perfect for your loved one with our exquisite lingerie and accessories. A halal lingerie website with no nudity, so there's no need to compromise on your faith. With our beautiful, affordable lingerie, make those intimate nights unforgettable. Order now on www.intimatenights.com. Intimate Nights.
Burial prices across London inflated this January and are continuing to rise annually. Eternal Gardens in South London are working with the community to provide affordable and high-standard Islamic burials. Supported by Sheikh Suleiman Ghani and many other ulama, our instalment plan provides an affordable option for any budget. Secure a plot for your family now and ensure they are cared for when it counts most. Death happens unannounced. Have you made provisions for your family? Eternal Gardens, making a difficult time a little easier.
Compelling Records presents Hamza Shuaib and his debut album Return to Allah, featuring his new single Road of Life. On this road of life, A to Z. I, inshallah, will visit the city of Rasulullah. And the title track Return to Allah, available online and in stores now. Return to Allah.
This program is funded by the Dawah Project subscribers.
Now on Islam Channel,